All right, lesson 4-3, solving quadratic equations by factoring. So by the time we're done with this section, we should be able to write a quadratic equation in standard form, solve quadratic equations by factoring using the greatest common factor, factoring patterns, difference of squares, and grouping. So to start with, we are adding another form to our quadratic equation, and that is factored form. Okay, so our a value hasn't changed, so we could have something out there, or it could be a 1. And then we have this p and q. So the p and q are going to be the x-intercepts. So we're going to use this idea later when we start solving. Now, and we're going to also discuss how to find these. So to start with, we're going to kind of go through how all of the forms are related again, and then we'll do some examples. So we're going to use FOIL, or our distributive method, to write quadratics in standard form from factored form. Okay? So if this is our factored form, we're just going to FOIL it back together. So we would take x times x, so that would give us x squared, and then x times negative 6, so minus 6x, and then negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. And then we would combine like terms. So our standard form for the same equation is going to be x squared minus 8x and then plus 12. Now if we want to graph, we need our vertex. So if we go through and find the vertex, again we're using h equals negative b divided by 2 times a. So this would be positive 8 over 2 times 1. So that will simplify to be 4. Okay. And then our k value, we just substitute 4 in for the x. So it would be 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 12. So 4 squared is going to give us 16. And then minus 32 plus 12. So 16 minus 32 is going to be negative 16. And then plus 12 will be negative 4. Okay? So that means that our vertex is 4, negative 4. So when we graph, we're going to go right 4, and then down 4. So if we do a t-chart, our vertex point is going to be in the middle, so 4, negative 4. Okay. So let's say we choose, let's choose 3. So if I choose 3 and substitute that in for the x in this form, or I could even do it in this form if we wanted to. So they're the same equation, so it's not going to matter which form we use. So it might be a little bit faster to actually use this form since we know what it is. So we would take 3 minus 2, and then times 3 minus 6. So that would give us 1 times negative 3. So that's going to be negative 3. Okay, so we're going to go right 3, and then down 3. Again, our graph on this side is going to be symmetrical here. Now I'm going to choose 2 next. So if I choose 2, again, I'm going to substitute it into this form. So we'd have 2 minus 2 times 2 minus 6. So that's going to be 0 times negative 4, which is going to be 0. So let's see here. So 1, 2, 0. And then again on this side, it's going to have to be at 6, 0. So this was 5, negative 3, and then we'll have 6, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here is our U shape. Okay. So again, looking at this, remember where it's crossing our x-axis, these are the zeros. So our solutions to this would have to be x equals 2 and 6. And again, if we compare that to our factored form, we should see those numbers in our factored form. So looking at all this information, it's all representing the same graph. So no matter what form we're in, we're always talking about the same thing in terms of its graph. So the form is going to be useful for different things. So vertex form is really useful for graphing. Standard form is very useful for writing equations or if we're working on evaluating. And then factored form is going to help us solve our problems when we get there. So again, remember, when solving, a solution is the zeros or the roots of our function, which are the x-intercepts. And then factoring is going to be another method of solving. So right now we have a way to solve by graphing, and we're going to add another method to it called factoring. And there's going to be several different factoring forms that we're going to talk about in the next set of videos.